All right, Shalom. First and foremost, we would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shah by Hashem Kakadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS, who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers. And peace and blessing salutations, hopefully, out there pushing his word in truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh by Shemal Shah, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful leg, the believers, the listeners whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh by Shemal Shah. All right, with GMS Mississippi Camp, I'm the brother Yashima to my right.
You're running the show.
And we're just going into a lesson, going into the heathen justified by faith. What does that mean? Because we understand that Christians, they have particular scriptures, that they make a doctrine out of, that says everyone can be saved, okay, to try to, use replacement theology as if the Most High replaced Israel with actual heathen, when it's just not true, and that's why the scriptures say precept must be on precept, line must be upon line, here a little, there a little. And that's how you get the understanding of the scriptures, man. All right, so we're gonna go through some precepts, we're gonna get that understanding, Lord will, you brothers and sisters edified. All right, you got it, bro.
This is Galatians chapter 3, verse 5. He therefore that ministered to you the Spirit and work of miracles among you.
Start at 6, like,
6 verse.
yeah.
This Galatians 3 and 6. Even as Abraham believed the Most High, and it was accounted to him for righteousness. Know ye therefore that they which are of faith, the same are the children of Abraham.
Yeah, so a Christian will take that and say, if you believe on Jesus, then you're all right, the children of Abraham. Well, what did Abraham believe? You gotta understand, well, what did Abraham believe? Get there real quick in Genesis. We're gonna go back to that. Genesis 17 and 6. Okay? You gotta believe in what Abraham believed in. You can't just say I believe, because the Jesus Christ and the doctrine that come with Jesus Christ has nothing to do with the promises of the Bible. And that's why Christians are so far removed from the reality of the scriptures, man. You got it, bro.
This is Genesis chapter 17, verse 6.
Yep.
And I will make thee exceedingly fruitful.
Yep.
And I will make the nations of thee.
Yep.
And kings shall come out of thee.
And kings shall come out of thee. So he was promising Abraham rulership. Real quick. Get that in Romans chapter 4, verse 13. I believe it's in the get in the NLT Bible shot.
This is Romans chapter 4 verse 13 in the
I just started 12 Bible shot.
Verse 12 in the NLT. And Abraham is also the spiritual father of those who have been circumcised, but only if they had the same kind of faith Abraham had.
If they only had the same kind of faith Abraham had. Okay? And the Christians would take that and say, see, I believe like Abraham. Well, what did Abraham believe in? Go ahead.
But only if they have the same kind of faith Abraham had before he was circumcised. Clearly, the Most High's promise to give the whole earth to Abraham.
Wait a minute. To give the whole earth. Okay, do Christians believe that they're going to get the whole earth? You see?
Right.
They think you got to die and get a reward. You just going to be floating around the spiritual realm. No, Abraham believed that he was going to get the earth and rule in righteousness, man. Go ahead.
And his descendants.
And his descendants. Read 13 again. No interruptions. Like,
clearly, the Most High's promise to give the whole earth to Abraham and his descendants was based not on his obedience to the Most High's law, but on the right relationship with the Most High that comes by faith.
So Abraham had a relationship with the Most High through faith, because you got to think he was asked to sacrifice Isaac. That was his heir. Remember,
Mm-hmm.
he's told that kings are going to come out of him. Pretty much, he's going to be the beginner. He's going to be the beginning of a dynasty that the Lord will create on the earth. What makes a dynasty? A succession of kings that come from the same family, that come from the same lineage of people. Okay, that's why you had the Hasmonean dynasty dealing with the Maccabean brothers. You had, the Flavian dynasty dealing with those Roman Caesars. Okay, and there's plenty of dynasties when you go throughout history. But uh, 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 Abraham was asked to sacrifice Isaac. Well, how can you have a dynasty if you sacrifice your heir? Abraham had that faith.
Mm-hmm.
Just like if I'm your business coach, and I'm promising you by the end of the year, you're gonna have the most successful trucking company, okay, in America, okay, and then I call you the next week and say, look, burn all your trucks up. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be like, what?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much what was told to Abraham. Okay? So Abraham had faith that, okay, well, this is what the Lord want. I still got faith that he gonna do what he said by me. Okay, well, what type of faith would you have to have in your business coach, and you go burn all your trucks up? Okay, well, that's the faith that Abraham had in the Most High.
No questions, no
No
doubt.
question. Yeah. Okay. You see, so when Christians talking about we got the faith of Abraham, you don't know what Abraham believed in. Okay, you had something.
No, okay.
Okay, let's go back to that Galatians 3 and 6.
It's back at Galatians chapter 3, verse 6. It says, even as Abraham believed the Most High, and it was accounted to him for righteousness, know ye therefore that they which are of faith, the same are the children of Abraham.
Go ahead.
You want? Was I reading in the NLT? Or?
No, you can read in.
Okay. Verse 8. And the scripture foreseeing that the Most High would justify the heathen through faith, preached before the gospel of Abraham unto Abraham, saying, in thee shall all nations be blessed.
Yeah, so Christians will take that and they see the word heathen justified by faith and all nations be blessed. Well, the nations that will come out of Abraham are the 12 tribes, man. Okay, they will be blessed through Abraham. Okay, and they will have faith on what Abraham had faith in. All right, and that was a righteous kingdom, a righteous eternal kingdom. Okay, so when you go to let's get that second Ezra 2:34. Oh yeah, you got make your points. I like it, bro.
You said 2:34.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You make your point, brother.
Because it was also told to Abraham that, he was given the son, but it wasn't the firstborn.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't Ishmael. He was given to Isaac. So that's a part of also having the same faith as Abraham, because it was the Lord gave him the plan. It
Yeah,
wasn't gonna go
yeah.
to Ishmael. It was gonna go to Isaac. From Isaac, it was gonna go to Jacob, because the Lord he allowed both of them to have two brothers, but the plan wasn't to give it to them. It was already set how he wanted to do it. It was already ordained. And then also too, he told Abraham to separate from his family. Like you said, to create that dynasty, he had to separate from all the other people and other customs. So that's major faith. Like that's like somebody telling you to basically run away from home while you a child,
Mm-hmm.
and they gonna take care of you the whole way and build you up.
You run away from something that's already established.
Uh,
Well, yeah, it was a lot of points that you made. Because first, Abraham had to be separated, which he was born where? Heir of the Chaldeans, Babylon. Like we was born in Babylon, we had to be separated. Then the Lord started dealing. And then he understood that the Lord said he was going to be blessed through Isaac, not Ishmael,
mhm.
like you said. So that lets you know that the Lord was only dealing with a particular lineage, and Isaac was the only heir. So if he was, because if you a man, if you have no heirs, guess what? Your legacy dies when you die.
Uh,
You through. Your legacy is no more in the earth. So for him to have that complete faith, just like the brother is going into, that was a showcase of faith.
and he had him at an old age.
Yep, yep.
This is 2nd Ezra 2:34. And therefore I say unto you, O ye heathen, that hear and understand,
You heathen that hear and understand. Go ahead.
look for your shepherd.
Look for your shepherd. Go ahead.
He shall give you rest. He shall give you everlasting rest. For he is nigh at hand that shall come in the end of the world.
Yeah, so this is Yahweh Shai. It's telling the heathen to look forward to Yahweh Shai. What heathen is this speaking of? It's speaking of Israelites. That we will become heathens, which we went through, that we will become what? A no people. Okay? Now, what nation of people does the Lord consider his flock? So let's get that in Jeremiah 50:6.
This is Jeremiah chapter 50.
Yep.
All right, Jeremiah 50:6. It says, my people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray.
My people have been lost sheep. My shepherd have caused them to go astray, which are the leadership of our people. And that's why Yahweh Shai, he was addressing the leadership mainly when he was cursing our people out. It was mainly the leadership because they had caused Israel what? To go astray. Okay, go ahead.
They have turned them away on the mountains. They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place.
They have forgotten their resting place. What did it just say? In matter of fact, read that again in 2nd Ezra 2:34.
This 2nd Ezra 2:34 again. And therefore I say unto you, O ye heathen, that hear and understand, look for your shepherd. He shall give you everlasting rest.
Wait a minute. It said we forgotten our resting place in Jeremiah, but here it say the shepherd is going to give us everlasting rest. Okay, so who is this speaking of? This is speaking of Israelites. Okay.
That's why Yahweh Shai said he came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
Yeah, we're gonna get that. Yeah, we're gonna get that. Come.
Finish this verse.
Yeah, you can finish that, then go back to Jeremiah.
It says, for he is nigh at hand that shall come in the end of the world.
Yeah, and he came, all right, the first time to establish the doctrine which we teach today and to be their sacrifice for those sheep. Okay, but now, all right, he's coming back this time to physically gather his sheep, man, which are the elect. Okay, you got it, bro.
It's back at Jeremiah 50:6. My people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. They have turned them away on the mountains. They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place.
Yeah, and let's get an example of that. Let's get 2nd Maccabees 4, and let's start like at 10. Let's just get an example of that. That's why you gotta understand the history. Like, how did our people become likened unto heathen? Go ahead.
This is 2nd Maccabees. You want me to start at verse 9?
Yeah, you start at 9. Where you see fit, bro?
This 2nd Maccabees 4:9. It says, besides this, he promised to assign 150 more if he might have license to set him up a place for exercise and for the training up of the youth in the fashions of the heathen.
Wait a minute. Training up the youth in the fashion of the heathen. Now, this is Jason, who pretty much paid his way to be high priest. Had his brother Onias, okay, killed. All right. They conspired, had him killed, and he became the high priest, and he was a sellout under the Greeks. That's why scriptures say, my people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds, because he would be in the position of a shepherd, had caused them to go astray. So now we're going to read about an account where, hey, the shepherds, the leaders of our people, all right, turned us out into heathens, man. Yeah, bro.
He said again, and for the training up of the youth in the fashions of the heathen, and to write them of Jerusalem by the name of Antiochians.
Write them of Jerusalem by the name of Antiochians. That's the same thing as calling yourself an African American or American. So Antiochus was a Greek king. Okay, Leo Scipio Africanus, which is the continent Africa is named after, is a Roman general that fought in the Punic Wars. All right, America is named after Amerigo Vespucius, which is an Italian Edomite map maker, the first one to put America on the map. Okay, when they started exploring the New World. Okay, so you had this occasion when Jake was calling themselves after Edomite, man, Antiochians, man. Okay, it's the same thing. They became heathens in this time and in the time we in now. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 10, which when the king had granted, and he had gotten into his hand the rule, he forthwith brought his own nation to Greekish fashion.
To Greekish fashion. That's why in that same chapter of Galatians, real quick, Galatians 3 and 28, in that same chapter that Jake used, the Christians used to try to justify, heathen, actual heathen. Well, listen to what it says in that same chapter. Go ahead.
This Galatians 3 and 28. There is neither Jew nor Greek.
Wait a minute. Why does it only say Greek? We just went to the account. You see, well, Jake had became Greek by culture, not by nationality, but by culture. Our people, was Greeks, Hellenized, man. Go ahead.
There is neither Jew nor Greek. There is neither bond nor free. There is neither male nor female.
Yeah, so when you hear this, all right, that doesn't open the door for all nations. They were talking about Israelites that was Hellenized, man. Okay, by their Greek captivity. And we read about the leadership, the shepherds, pretty much causing our people to go astray into their way.
And then it said it was training up the youth
The youth.
in that fashion.
Yeah.
Just like they did in this time. They sold our people off, sold the children off, and they westernized the children.
Yep.
And they was brought up. This is why you have what you have today.
Yep.
Finishing the verse, it says, there is neither male nor female, for ye are all of one in Hamashiach Yahushua.
And Yahushua, that's the shepherd that the heathen, the Israelite foreigners will seek. Okay, he is at hand to come. So through the teaching of Yahushua, the heathen began to believe. What did the heathen begin to believe in, man? Of the promise of a kingdom, a rulership. Okay? And you can read that because it's going to go into it. Verse 29, because Christians stop at 28. And they say, we cherry pick. Well, read the next verse. And it explains itself. Go ahead.
Verse 29, and if ye be Yahushua's, then are ye Abraham's seed,
Yep,
and heirs according to the promise.
heirs according to the promise. The promise was made to who? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So when you hear it talk about a promise, the promise only made to one lineage of people, man. So those Greeks, all right, that they're speaking of are Israelites, man. And we're reading the actual account. You go back to the account. Oh, sorry, you had something. Okay, yeah.
Go back to
Yeah, that second Maccabee 4.
All right. This is back at Second Maccabees 4 and 10 again. It says, which when the king had granted and he had gotten into his hand the rule, he forthwith brought his own nation to Greekish fashion.
Mm-hmm.
And the royal privileges granted of special favor to the Jews by the means of John, the father of um, Epiphanes,
Yeah.
who went ambassador to Rome for amenity and aid, he took away, and putting down the governments which were according to the law, he brought up new customs against the law.
He brought up new customs against the law. Go ahead.
For he built gladly a place of exercise under the tower itself, and brought the chief young men under his subjection, and made them wear a hat.
Mm-hmm.
Now such was the height of Greek fashions, and increase of heathenish manners, through the exceedingly profaneness of Jason, that ungodly wretch, and no high priest.
So he brought them into what? The Greekish fashion. Okay? So when it speaks about the heathen in Galatians, it was talking about our people that will undergo their Hellenization, but the preaching of Yahushua will go abroad and they will believe. And what do they believe in, man? Okay? Oh, you had some?
I was just gonna point out it said it brought it to the height, so they went all out for it.
Yeah.
And that's why that's why it was so bad during the time of Yahweh.
Yeah.
And it was important for our people. Well, the disciples, was later became apostles, and that's why they had to, and Paul mainly going out to speak to all those that were keeping those customs.
Yeah.
Because it got to the point to where it was a major. Our people really indulged into the Greek customs.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I say it reached the height.
Just like today. Uh, 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 who goes out with tattoos? You know,
Okay.
who's going all out with these piercings now? Who's going all out with the alphabet community? Okay, who's going all out with the dysfunctional families? Okay, the worship of self, the worship of money. Who goes all out like that, man? Okay, Jake is in the peak of the Greek fashion, man.
Mm.
The fashion of the West, man. Okay, so let's get that in what you had mentioned that in what it Matthew 10:5.
Oh, come, yeah,
Yep,
come.
and you had mentioned.
This is Matthew chapter 10, verse 5. It
Yep,
says, These 12 Yahushua sent forth and commanded them, saying, Go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of
but
Israel.
go to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, the lost sheep. Okay, then shall the heathen look for their shepherd. Okay, a lot of our people became heathens, and in this captivity, all became like heathens, man. And that back during the New Testament, a lot of our people had became heathens because we read that in Second Maccabees, the fourth chapter. Remember, there was several generations before Yahushua. So by the time Yahushua was on the scene and laid the foundation for the doctrine and was crucified and resurrected, then the apostles going out and the word going out to the Israelite foreigners. Okay, there was several generations after, man. So our people were deep into it, man. That's why the Book of Corinthians is 16 chapters, then
Hmm.
12 chapter part 2. Jake tripping.
Right.
They were born into it, just like we was born into, Western culture. The thing that we thought was normal was off. And guess what? We didn't understand the promises, man. Like we raised in church, but we didn't have faith in what the Bible told us to have faith in, man. The promises of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We wasn't taught those things, man. You know?
We weren't looking forward to eternal life
Yeah.
or just living on the earth, you know?
What's that in get that in Colossians 1 and 12. Because remember, these epistles, this is being written to churches in Asia Minor, these Greek city states, man. Go ahead.
This is Colossians 1 and 12. It says, Giving thanks unto the Father, which have made us meet to be partakers of the inheritance of the saints in light.
Yeah, so why is he talking to actual heathens about inheritance? Okay, when the inheritance of the kingdom was only promised to one lineage of people. Go ahead.
It says, Who have delivered us from the power of darkness and have translated us into the kingdom of his dear Son.
And translate us into the kingdom. A kingdom is what? All right, the territory subjugated to a king. What was promised to Abraham? The earth. Okay, what was promised to Abraham? The earth. So the apostles was teaching a rulership to these Israelite foreigners who the circumcision looked at as heathens, and they believed, and they was translated from darkness because just like when we was in American culture, we didn't think about rulership and inheritance. Our lineage has an inheritance. We was in darkness to those things, man. Okay, the throne of David, we was in darkness. Okay, hey, we vote, for Obama, through.
All right. Waiting for change. The
Yeah.
slogan. Change.
Yeah, you know. But now we've been pulled out of darkness, and now, okay, now we see where everything is building up to, man. And it's those promises of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
That's why Paul reiterated all of it in chapter 9. Going back and letting our people know that, all this is still in place and it's still for the nation of Israel. Not just because you was Hellenized or you was westernized, but if you're an Israelite, it's for you. But it's only for the elect right now, but it's only still to that same group of people. All of it was, who it was promised to. And then he mentions Abraham again.
Mm-hmm. All right. Uh, yeah, get that guy out of here. Well, yeah, Yaki must have to be black king on earth and then be a blacker king in the hill of afterlife. Yeah, get that guy out of here, man. You know. As I say, if you an Edomite and you on the coming board with us, you ain't got no power, man. You know,
Right.
if you here messing with us on lunch break, then you ain't got no power. You on lunch break scoffing, man. Okay, go ahead. Get that. Oh yeah, get that. 2 Timothy 4 and start at 7. All right, because who had the ministry, the office of teaching to the Israelite foreigners, man? It was the Apostle Paul. And what did Apostle Paul believe? Go ahead.
This 2 Timothy 4 and 7. I have fought the good fight. I have finished my course. I have kept the faith.
Yeah, he had kept the faith. Wait a minute. Say that word faith. What does he have faith in? Let's read.
Henceforth there is laid up for me a crown
Wait
of
a minute.
righteousness.
A crown.
Uh,
So what does he have faith in? A rulership. So what you think he was teaching those Israelite foreigners? Okay? Which in the New Testament they was called Greeks and Gentiles and heathens. Okay? A rulership for Israel. Well, before Yahushua went back to the spiritual realm, what did they ask him? Without now restore the kingdom to Israel.
mm-hmm.
So if the Apostle Paul was teaching kingdom for the heathens, wouldn't there be some conflict when we read about a conflict in the scriptures, man?
You notice how he didn't say I'll be in heaven or anything
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, yeah,
The
yeah,
Christians believe
yeah,
like henceforth I'll be up in heaven.
yeah. No, man, Apostle Paul knew about the righteous rulership that was coming to the earth, and that's what he was teaching to those Israelite foreigners that believe, and that's what they believe. They died. You gotta remember, the Israelite foreigners, them was the ones in Rome that was being thrown to lions and crucified and what they call the Roman candle, burnt alive.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you get that Roman candle from. That name of that firecracker. They were them was believers. So what did they believe in that to make them go through that? You see? Go ahead.
Henceforth there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, shall give me at that day, but not to me only, but unto all them that also love his appearing.
That also love his appearing. And we all are now coming into this one agreement that we can't wait for Yahushua to come back because we know what that means. The end of suffering, man. Okay? The beginning of a righteous, eternal rulership, man. Okay?
Order.
Order, man. And the brother just put up a beautiful precept. It's the brother Azan and Moth, Psalms 147 and 2. It said, The Lord doth build up Jerusalem. He gathered together the outcasts of Israel. And those outcasts, all right, will be known as the heathens and the Gentiles in the scriptures, man. Okay? Just like as we became heathens and Americans, okay, African Americans, black and color, and all these different names, we became like a heathen. Okay? But this word is gathering all the outcasts of Israel, and Yahushua is going to physically come gather, all right, the outcasts of Israel. The big plane flying.
I'm looking at
you know? So that was the point you had something.
nah,
Hey, with that, we pray that you brothers, all right, and you sisters was edified once again. We're going to give all praise and glory unto
Yahweh
Yahweh,
Ba'ashem,
Ba'ashem,
Yahushua
Yahushua,
Ba'ashem,
Ba'ashem,
Rakakwadash.
and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples of what younger brothers, and peace and blessings salutations to the whole flesh. Shalom.
Shalom.